Hi guys, welcome back to South Dakota Living. I thought after the taste test that I would do some seed saving and show you guys how I do that. First of all, I'm going to take, this is probably a pint jar, and this was the Prudence Purple. What I do is just, if you can see that, we're just going to squeeze all the seeds and goo and all. You can use your fingers and just get all the seed cavities. You can see that. Just get it all out. Some are hiding, so don't be afraid to squeeze that out. Pulp helps ferment. The first way I'm doing it is we're gonna ferment the seeds, and that's gonna help get the seed coat off. If you cut open a tomato and you look at the seeds, they're covered by a gel coating, and that inhibits growth. And fermenting the seeds is also going to help get rid of and kill any pathogens or viruses or bacteria that could possibly be on the seeds. And this is the way that most everybody will say this is the way to do it. This is what they prefer. So that one squeezed out. Here's a slice that I tried. Working with a bunch of tomatoes on your cutting board too. Be careful not to get seeds from other varieties in your jar you're working on. So I always have a towel handy. Check my knife, make sure there's nothing riding on it before I go to the next variety. Alright, so I'll wipe off my hands. There's a couple little seeds here. Alright, you can see here what I got. Just one tomato, so that's not a whole lot. But what you're going to do here is you're going to add a little bit of water. That should be about enough. And then what you do is you just put the lid on it. And anywhere, depending on the temperature of your house, I keep my house at around 68, so mine's closer to the 5-day mark. But if you keep your house warmer, they might ferment sooner, so you need to keep an eye on it. Once a day, just swirl your tomatoes and leave it alone, and you're going to watch for it to get scum on the top, and all that seed coat is going to come off, and all the viable seeds will be at the bottom. And I'll show you how later, when it's time, we will rinse them, clean it, get all the pulp off, and strain it and dry it. So next, this is where, again, clean off your cutting board. Make sure there's no seeds left behind from that variety. Wipe off your blade before you go to the next variety. Make sure there's no seeds on your hands because they like to stick. So that one next. This is, I guess, controversial for some people that don't believe that this is an organic way, because you're using I suppose a chemical in a way. So this is just a half pint jar, and this is, which one do I want to save? There's not going to be many seeds, so it's not really worth it, but it's the only one that I have of this variety right now. This is that Turtle Purple, the variety that seems true to type. So I'm just going to do the same thing. You can see there's just a little tiny seed pocket right there. They're just little guys. We're gonna squeeze that out, make sure nothing's hiding inside. Oh yeah, there's more hiding inside there. Just squeeze juice, pulp, not a big deal. That's what we want. Squeeze it down, because this isn't fermenting. This is a quick seed saving method, which I have done and tried, and also did a germination test to make sure that the seeds were viable afterwards, and you know what, it worked. So okay, since I have such a small amount, I'm going to add maybe half of this little pint, making sure that the seeds are in there. And then here's the part, because this is a half pint, I did a half a teaspoon of OxiClean. And what you're going to do, put a lid on that, shake it up, and that OxiClean is going to remove that gel seed coat. And this is probably going to sit in here for maybe 10 to 15 minutes, and then we'll rinse it off. So that is the two methods that I know, and I'll bring you guys with me to see the end results of everything. I also wanted to mention that I forgot was that when you're fermenting seeds, keep your process, going all the way through. Label everything. Little grape. And because this is like a 10-15 minute process, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to put the label on this, and then eventually when I rinse it, rinse them off and strain them and put them on like a paper plate, I'll take this right off, the sticker right off with me, and put it right on that plate or that paper towel. And you know what? If you don't do this, you'll forget. If you got a lot going on, you'll forget, and then you'll get them all mixed up. And so this is just easier all the way through. And the date, because this one is fermenting. So yeah, I'm just going to do the few other ones here quick, and I'll bring you with for the last part. It's been about 15 to 20 minutes, so this one is J'adore. I'm just going to take it and dump it out. Make sure there's no seeds stuck on in the jar. And we're just going to rinse it. Rinse it really well. I just use my hands to kind of clean it off and feel when that OxiClean is off, because OxiClean kind of has a silky feeling to it, kind of like soap. I'm just going to rinse and move them around, make sure we get all that seed coat that was on there that's dissolved, make sure everything's gone. Dump it, spread it out if you want. I use a paper towel because when it dries, I literally just kind of scratch it up, and the paper towel does not stick to the seeds at all. That's just what I use. So don't forget, we're going to take off the sticker. Alright, we've added the sticker here, and now it's just going to dry for like a week. So I'm going to do that to the others now. I've got the turtle grape. That was the true to type one. Turtle grape, that was the round variant. Pumpkin spice, obviously you can see there's only just a few little seeds there. And J'adore. And you want to make sure that you, when using the OxiClean method, that you don't go over that like 15-20 minute mark. So rinse really well and keep in a dark, cool, ventilated area, like with a fan, just to dry these, like I said, for about a week, and then you can put them in your bags. And then we have the Prudence Purple, that's day 1 of fermenting. 5 days later, you can kind of see the scum line, I should say, and it smells pretty ripe. So we're going to rinse this off. I'm just going to kind of, you can see with me here, I'm just going to kind of rinse and pour off some of that. Get some of the pulp out. Any of the seeds that had floated to the top, those are going to be non-viable seeds if they floated to the top, and all the good ones will be remaining at the bottom. I'm just going to do that a few times. Let it settle. Pour off any of the gross stuff. Letting the seeds settle again before we pour. A little more time. Letting them settle. We don't pour off. Anything that's good is at the bottom. Just putting a little strainer in there. Catch the seeds. Pour it right down in my strainer. Make sure I got all the seeds. Rinse those off well. Just using my hand to kind of make sure everything's off there. I take my strainer and I'm just going to plop that down. Spread them out if you like. And this works well. It doesn't actually stick to the paper towel. Once they dry, you just kind of go like this and they just all kind of fall right off, pop right off the paper towel. And I suppose it depends on what kind of paper towel. I use the Bounty, like strong or whatever. And then I was telling you about making sure you label everything. So this came off the lid and I'm just going to take it right off. Add it to my paper towel and go set it somewhere in a, it's got a fan to dry off for the next days to a week, 2 weeks. And that took 5 days to ferment. And this is the OxiClean method that took 10 minutes in the OxiClean solution, and then you rinse it off just like I did before, plop it out from the strainer, and they are dry. So like I said, this is what it looks like. I just go like this, just scrape them off. Okay, and then I put it in its own little sealed pouch here. You can see the seeds look, you can see a good look there, nice and fluffy. And I follow all the way through. I've got my label, wrote it, open pollinated 2026, and I'll just add that to my seed box.